As a property manager, we tend to get a lot of different demands from our owners in terms of the type of tenants they would like. I'd like to share with you a situation with regards to what's happening. Probably you're seeing it as well in the marketplace. More and more people are cohabitating, and really there's not much else you can do because of the price of rent and cost of housing. It's expensive to live in the city. So our mandate is obviously to have great tenants and great landlords, and to have tenants who actually have to live together in a property to coexist peacefully and happily. And so in this situation, we placed a tenant in the downstairs, a nice family, very quiet family, actually takes very good care of the yard. And the garden is in great condition. I mean, they've got vegetables growing everywhere, and it's just well maintained. So obviously, for our upstairs tenants, we want to have a very synergistic and very ideal situation where we have tenants that respect both the downstairs and not making noise. Because one of the things in a home, for example, this is a home that has a downstairs and upstairs suite, that sound does travel, and with laminate flooring in Nemo carpeting, it does travel, and especially with laminate, even though you have underlay and what have you, still have noise traveling. So we were very selective, and obviously the owners are very concerned about what type of tenants we would have. So that said, we were able to find a suitable tenant after a period of time, because obviously with that kind of condition, you know, we're not looking for just anyone who actually could just qualify. So the candidates were 3 individual males and relatively young, and ideally, in most cases, I think people tend to be a little bit hesitant in terms of maybe they would be more noise prone or concerned about partying. And so we were very fortunate that we do our background checks, and we vetted them out, and knowing that these individuals have went to school and obviously worked hard to build their careers, and are just starting off in their careers in the multimedia space. And so they are going to be on their computers a lot, and some of their biggest concerns was also noise, and also their concerns was bandwidth. And so making sure that the property is able to have access to consistent, very high bandwidth, so that they can have reliable internet. So after some time, obviously reviewing everything and doing the background checks and employment checks and the credit scores, they all came out positive. So we recommended it to the owners, and the owners approved them. Now, as a responsible landlord, we notified the downstairs tenants, and obviously the first comment was, we didn't know that you were going to have 3 individuals, and the biggest concern was they're young and that they were going to have cause for concern. So instead of being defensive about it, I basically suggested this is the best thing to do. We need to, during the move-in inspection, I encourage not only owners to attend, but also after move-in inspection, to bring the downstairs tenants upstairs to actually introduce the new tenants upstairs, so that there is no misunderstanding that who's going to be responsible. Everyone understands that we have people who are living downstairs, and they would like to have the house and obviously the living conditions a certain way, and we would expect the same for the above. And I think by having everyone stand and meet was a much better situation than speculation. If we didn't do that, I would probably suspect and gather that, or most of the downstairs tenants would have hesitation. Any slight noise or maybe even slight issues would have been raised without hesitation, just with the assumption that they were young. In this case, I think going forward, well, fingers crossed that we're not going to have that problem, and I believe with our owners on site and as well managing the property, in this case the owners are managing the property, that everyone understands their responsibilities. So I'm interested in seeing what's happening out there on your side. I know as we see as people come back from the city, cohabitation is going to be almost an expectation. I think 50% of the people who are coming to see properties now are sharing and roommates. They're no longer just families or just a couple. And so that dynamic is something that we have to be aware of, and how do we screen them, and how do we have coexisting cohabitation, that not only amongst just the roommates, hopefully they've been living together to be able to live with each other, let alone being brand new and then coming together. Obviously there's a different dynamic there, especially when you never lived together. So I'm just curious about how is it going out there on your side, and definitely like to hear your thoughts and how you handle things like this.